That's it. When the file is loaded, you can keep working and save it, and when you finally finish, connect the internet again, it gets uploaded. So only 2 times you have to connect the internet for 5-10 minutes until the file gets loaded. After that it is offline working. So this tip also you can use it in your when you are working at home. So I have already one update. See, the message is coming, a new version of Fusion 360 has landed. When you are ready, restart to get it. So I have to restart now. So I will take a restart. So now I will switch on and it's updated now, going online. Okay, now working online. Right. Let me close this one, and the other thing we have is the machining extension. Extensions are additional, it will give additional functionality to the software. Okay, but there are some free extensions, there are some paid extensions. So you have to be, you can, if you want to purchase it, you can purchase it. Otherwise, it's just not necessary for basic actually. Then the next, this is called as the ribbon bar. On the ribbon bar, you have the first button which is called as workspace button. Here you can change the workspace, and depending on the workspace, the ribbon bar will change. We are in the design, so if I go into generative design, this is changing, and we have two generative design, which is first is structural component and fluid path. This will come to that. I think today we cannot cover that, but anyway, rendering workspace. Again, you will get a different ribbon bar like that. If you go into manufacturing, you will get different ribbon bar on the top. So when you are in the ribbon bar, and you can click on the menu to change the menu, and like when you change the menu, even the options or the toolbars will get changed, the commands. Okay, when we are in the design workbench, we have solid modeling, surface modeling, mesh modeling, sheet metal, and plastic. There are some additional utilities which are just like your Google store, where you can use the third-party applications into your software. That is also possible. Under solid modeling, this is the main basic thing what we are here. There are options for creating solids. Okay. Under the creation commands, you have the creation of the solids, where you can create a new sketch, make an extrude, revolve, sweep, plot, and there are hole, thread, and all these commands. Basically, when you start creating something new, and then we here have modifying commands like fillet, chamfer, shell, draft, and all. These are the commands essentially you will apply after creation of a solid. Okay, so they will be under here. Under assembly, we have the assembly commands where you can join one or more components to create assemblies, apply the joints, make the motion, apply the motion, and kinematics. Everything is available under assembly. Construction are the help elements what you have to create. By default, if I switch on the origin, by default you will get 3 planes, 3 axes, and 1 origin. Okay. And if you want additional, you can create more like offset plane, offset axis, or some other axis. Okay, and you can make use of them in the modeling process. Then we have inspection command, like measuring the solid, measuring the length, measuring the diameter, radius, or center point, or something like this. Or even you can measure the interference. If you create an assembly, you can see the interference between 2 components, whether each one is colliding or not. Okay, that kind of things. You have curvature analysis, zebra, draft, curvature, isocurve, section analysis, minimum radius, and so on. These are the analyses which are required for modeling when you are doing part modeling itself. Why they are given here is you have to consider manufacturing feasibility or assembly feasibility while designing your part itself. Okay, this is what we call it as DFM. DFM means design for manufacturing, and DFA, design for assembly. Okay, for example, if I say I am using a minimum radius analysis, that means I will check in the body which is the lowest radius available. Okay, and if the lowest radius is 0.5, then I am sure to manufacture that part I have to use a dia 1 mm cutter. Is it possible dia 1 mm is available with me, or my machine is capable of handling dia 1 mm cutter? This is what you have to think when you make a analyze here. And if it's not possible, then you should think about changing the radius to a bigger one, if it's allowed. Okay, so these are DFM, design for manufacturing. DFA, design for analysis. If you are making a, for example, that box, network box, okay, if I make a sheet metal out of that and fold the screws, whatever the screwing areas inside, after putting that, how I will access that? If I fold the screwing areas covered, then operator cannot put the screwdriver inside. So it's completely locked down. So these are the things what you have to consider when you do DFA, okay, design for assembly. Also we have a section analysis where you can see a half section of the part by using a plane and see whether the middle section is okay or not. Draft analysis also. Draft is a very important thing, especially when you are doing some die designing, whether it's a sheet metal die or a plastic injection molded die. Draft is very important. If you give negative draft, you cannot reach it in the CAM programming. It will not reach. So these are the things which are need to be done here. And finally, we have some under the insert. We have some external import, like you can import an image from outside. If you want to trace out something from that, that is possible. Import a DXF file, possible. And also we have a big library of standard parts where you don't have to waste your time in designing a screw or a double or something. You can just download and assemble. So spend your quality time on quality designing rather than designing a standard part. Okay? On the left side, this area is called as the browser. Okay? Browser is the area where you can see, change your units, modeling units. You can change the modeling units to inches or any other what we are doing. Okay? And also we have the named views. By default, you will get top, front, right, and home button. Okay? I think this is. And even if you want to have any other view, you can make a right click and create a new named view also. So they are custom views which you can use it in the drawing creation. Also we have the three origins what I said, and whatever you start creating after this, it will start appearing in the browser. Okay, like solid bodies will appear, surface bodies will appear, the construction, any plane you are creating, axis you are creating, that will also appear here. And the remaining area, this area we call it, okay, canvas or the graphic area, where you can see how your model. And this corner, this is called as the view cube, where you can change the views by clicking on the appropriate direction. Okay, when you click the home button, it will go back to the home view. Okay. on the bottom we have this view display options where you can find the rotate option, pan options, zoom in, zoom out, and also you can change the background or wireframe display, shaded display, etc. So if I want to change the environment, the color, I'll change the color. If I want what is comfortable for me, I will change it to a gray or even I can have a blue, whatever I want. So all display options are provided here. So camera is right by default is kept as orthographic, and you can change it to perspective like a two-dimensional two eyes view whenever you want. But mainly CAD is all about orthographic. It's not about perspective. You can have a ground plane if you want to have a shadow of the part. Many of the things are available here. Then here we have the layout grid. Okay, now when you open default, you will see the layout grid like that. If you don't want it, you can always switch off all the three buttons. Snap to grid switch off, layout, grid lock, and this also switch off. Because the camera, I feel comfortable without working with the grid. Plain white sheet is always preferable for me. And here you have multiple views, like it is divided into 4 different views now. Okay, and whenever I want to see the other single view, I will switch it back to the single view. The bottommost command or the bottommost here, this is called as the timeline. Okay, timeline is nothing but model history. How you are creating your model one by one. If I create a sketch, it will appear. If I create an extrude, it will appear. So it moves from left to right. Okay. So step by step, one by one, the features will start appearing there. And at any point, this is called as the marker. At any point, you can drag the marker and you can insert new features, or you can redefine the existing features. So that is the timeline. So this is exactly about what I was talking about, the graphical user interface. So we are calling this area as graphic window. That is the browser. This is the toolbars, application bars, and timeline. Okay. So let us start with some small modeling which we are going to use it for manufacturing later. Let me open some example here. I have some examples. So let us start from a round example. Let's take this one. Okay, let us create this, and how I think you have already done it, but let me do it. So we can make a sketch, because everything is sketch driven here. It's a sketch based software. So first I will change my units to inches, because my PDF drawing is in inches. Here it is provided as inches. So I am going to draw the sketch and make use of that sketch for further modeling. So I can make use of a create sketch, and where I would like to draw, I want to draw. See, here I have to think about what is the position. Look, this is the position normally what you have in lathes. Okay, Z axis is the blue color one is always the rotational axis in CNC lathes or any lathes. Okay, or most of them, I would say 90% of the lathes uses Z axis as 0, and X is where the tool comes in. That is the direction of the tool which is coming in. So I want to maximum, I would like to try to draw parallel to the Z axis. Or sorry, I made a mistake here, so I will delete the sketch. So here on this axis, I can create the sketch, and this is the rotation. So I can see the So here I am going to draw this half portion. Okay, and then let's see. So first, in the sketch, I am going to draw this dia 1.375 divided by 2. So I will go for a line command. You can also access with shortcut key N. There are shortcut keys available, keyboard shortcut. And start with when you go closer to the origin, it will snap automatically. Small blue box will come and start vertically. And I can give the dimension 1.375 divided by 2. This is the length. Okay, and when I snap to the vertical, you can see one blue color constraint here, that is the geometrical constraint, vertical, and it will automatically create. And the next line starts from that end point. So let us see what is next is 0.375 horizontal. .375 is the length, and click that. That is what I got. Now I have a vertical line. I don't know how much it will come. I will just draw and close it. Okay, I don't want to make use of that. Or I can do that. Just draw some dimension, and this is how it is. And I am going to add the dimension by going into create sketch dimension from this point to this point. And what is the diameter of that? Here it is given dia 1 inch. So I have to change this dimension by double click the dimension, and you will have to enter 0.5. Okay, then I have angular line like this. I don't know how much it is. Just leave it as it is. Now you can see the difference. There are some entities in black color and there are some entities in blue color. The black colored entities are fully constrained entities, and blue colors are with some degree of freedom. Okay, when you arrest the degree of freedom by geometrical constraints or with the dimensional constraint, it will get turned into black. Okay, so let's see what else I have here. I have another dimension here at 1.25. The diameter should be dia 0.875. Okay, so let us do that. First, apply the horizontal dimension. I can make use of the shortcut D and start from this origin to here. This length is 1.25, and the diameter from here to here is 0.875 divided by, that is the diameter. Now there is a horizontal line. How much? You can see the total distance is 1.5. So D from this point to this point is 1 point. Then I have a vertical line. Again I have a horizontal line from here to here, and finally I will close it. And for closing, I can just go on top, click nothing, just go here, and when you come like this, it will give you a blue dotted line. Okay, that is called cursor tracking. So you are taking the reference of that point and clicking here, and then finally I will go back to the origin and close. Now you can see the change of color inside. Okay, outside it's white, inside there is a small blue tinge. This mentions, or this is the indication that your circle, your profile is fully closed. For any solid modeling, you need to have a closed profile. Okay, that is the indication of that one. Let us give some more dimensions, which is the diameter here. it is given as 0.5. So here it should be 0.25, right? And the length is given here 0.375. The length from that is 0.375. Okay. Now that the entire outer sketch is finished, outer area, I have few other options to apply different things. Like I have a 0.0625 by 45 chamfer. I have 0.125 radius in two places. Okay, this is first place and in the front also. Okay, so let's do that by using modify chamfer distance and angle chamfer. So when you have distance and angle chamfer, you can select two lines or even the intersection point of that also. If I go into the intersection point, it will highlight to me the area of chamfer. Now it is asking give the distance, that is 0.0625 is the distance. That button will go to the angle. So instead of 48, I have to give 45, sorry 38, I have to give 45 and I can press enter. Sketch still fully constrained even after making any changes. Now I can go back to modify fillet. I want to apply a fillet here. Similar way I can select the intersection point. The radius I have to give 0.125. And within the same command, before entering, I can select multiple locations and press enter. So in the same command, I made two different fillets. Now you can see the dimension is there, and these are the, and at any point you want to make use of sketch palette which is coming on the right. Okay, you can minimize or open at any time, and I don't want to see the dimensions, switch off. All dimensions are switched off. I don't want to see the geometrical constraints which are created. Switch off, it will go. Switch off the points. Okay? For your convenience, anytime you can switch on or switch off. Show profile. The close profile, it will close. So when the sketch is fully constrained, I can finish the